Upon an enthusiastic request on a couple of my past posts, today's video is scaling Pluto, the first Demon King chronologically. I do think there's some weird takes around him, as well as the popularized fake images off of Peak of Combat, but nonetheless, Pluto is still solid power-wise with some interesting abilities. Pluto's primary line of scaling is pretty simple. He just bullies Mundus. Mundus, who would absolutely have the Clive through to this point, as it stated he consumed it to become the king of the underworld, required his army alongside him to overthrow Pluto, with his army being arguably infinite based off of the Devil May Cry 2 novel, in which the same younger Mundus, fresh off the Clive is blatantly stated to have such, so full power Mundus with the help is still inferior to Pluto. This is easily consistent, seeing as Pluto is considered an extraordinary being even in the comparison to the other Demon Lords, so out of the 4 known Demon Lords so far, I believe him to be safely in the number 3 spot just off of this. His most popular feat is him separating the original Devil May Cry universe into 2 separate spacetimes, which is more impressive inverse than you may think, or less impressive if you think Pluto is some top tier up there with Dante and Virgil, which he's not. But anywho, he completely separates them, and that's just by his own power, in which Sparta, just strengthening the barrier that was already present for Pluto's actions, needed help, sacrifices, and still required a key to keep the barrier stable. I'll be covering in a later video why Sparta being so low is pretty consistent, but that comes later. Pluto can casually blitz and beat post-Devil May Cry 3 based Dante, and easily keep up with him in Devil Trigger as well, which is way more impressive than you'd originally think. Essentially, Virgil and Dante individually by late Devil May Cry 3 are at least stronger than 50% of Sparta in base, since they're directly stated to be that strong even a year before Devil May Cry 3. And you may question why this should apply to Dante, since he's obviously significantly weaker than Virgil at this point, and that's why I think this statement is just in reference to when their blood has been awakened. Since Virgil, we see at this point, is already awakened, the 50% statement applying to him works just fine regardless of it applying to Dante, as the implication would be that Dante reached that 50% mark when his blood awakened, hence the narrative switch with Dante now being on the same level as Virgil. And while some may try to argue that he wasn't talking about power, that's ignoring the entire context of the rest of the scene. Virgil chopped his ear off and was ready to kill him the second he said something he didn't like, and he already cleared up beforehand that he was talking about literally everything regarding Dante and Virgil. But this is not where it ends. Dante becomes stronger than an even stronger version of Virgil, due to Virgil becoming stronger in base after absorbing Beowulf, and later becoming complete for their final battle, in which Dante for the first time becomes stronger than Virgil. This is further supported with Arkham gaining the full power of Sparta, in which base Dante and base Virgil together casually slam him. So Dante would individually be well over 50% in base, with their Devil Trigger being a 2x amp, meaning Devil Trigger Dante is stronger than Sparta. Furthermore, Virgil at this point was stronger than a nerfed Mundus, and both Dante and Virgil are stronger than a full power Mundus after 10 years of peace and seemingly no training. Well, Virgil isn't in a peaceful time, but Dante is at least. So I think Devil Trigger Dante being above Sparta is completely fine, with Pluto being at least equal to this Dante, if not stronger, as he essentially told Dante he ain't shit right after their fight. Pluto has some pretty solid abilities, being able to manipulate space and time to a decent degree, as well as having fate manipulation to some degree. He also has space-time slicing. Due to his demon physiology, he has regeneration, of course, and is stronger in the demon realm, so he's also not at his peak against Dante. But that's where this video ends, though, as there's not much to go off of for Pluto. See you all and have a great rest of your day.